The story of the Nuyorican Poets Cafe and its founder, Miguel Algarin. Founded in 1973, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe began as a living room salon in the East Village apartment of Miguel Algarin, along with other writers and artists who were not accepted by the mainstream academic and publishing industries. In 1960s and 1970s, a group of poets, including Miguel Algarin and Pedro Pietri, among others, created an artistic and literary movement. As New Yorkers of Puerto Rican descent, they called themselves the Nuyorican Poets. They were reclaiming a word which once was used against their community. The Nuyorican Poets Cafe served as a home for groundbreaking works of poetry, music, theatre, and visual arts. As a multicultural institution, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe gives voice to a diverse group of rising poets, actors, filmmakers, and musicians. This cafe, located in the Lower East Side of Harlem, known as Loisaida, is a non-profit organization whose name was given by the Puerto Ricans from New York. The ethnic signifier Nuyorican in the cafe's name did not preclude non-Nuyorican from reading, performing, or taking on leadership roles and this movement for urban, cultural expression and communal uplift. The cafe holds strong ties to the thriving Nuyorican culture from the Puerto Rican community in New York and is one of the key institutions for the artistic and literary Nuyorican movement. Beyond its Puerto Rican roots, the cafe uplifts different voices from all over New York, and it hosts weekly Latin jazz, slam poetry, theatrical performances, and vocal open mic events. The cafe focuses on spoken word and slam poetry in particular. The cafe embodies the belief that anyone can take the stage and interpret one of the most accessible forms of art. The audience of the cafe has also evolved and now includes not only first-generation Latinos, but also African Americans and Asian Americans. Among the favorite theme nights is the Wednesday night Poetry Slam Open, where poets are rated by 3 randomly selected judges. The Nuyorican Poets Cafe broke barriers, and it became one of the most legendary locations in New York City. Poetry lovers of all ages, cultures, and interests take a trip here. Not only people from Loisaida, the Spanish Harlem, but also from all over New York come together in this special environment and pour their hearts on a stage. They always share something with the community. Its founder, Miguel Algarin, was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and he was raised on the Lower East Side of Harlem in New York. He received a BA from the University of Wisconsin in 1963 and an MA in English Literature from Pennsylvania State University in 1965. A few years later, in 1973, and when he was a professor of Shakespeare at Rutgers University, brought together a group of people, including Nuyorican poetry icon Pedro Pietri and playwright Miguel Piñeiro. Together, they founded the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, which began as a living room salon in the East Village apartment of Miguel Algarin, along with other writers and artists who were not accepted by the mainstream academic and publishing industries. In 1981, 8 years after the foundation of the cafe, Algarin and the co-founders of the cafe bought a building at 236 East and 3rd Street, which was a tenement building. In this building, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe became a multicultural venue championing art and performance by underprivileged artists. Since 1990s, the cafe was the epicenter of slam poetry in the country. Miguel had a keen sense of the dual identity felt by many people with a similar story. He had an equally keen ear for the language of the street and the power of poetry performed live. Miguel strove to connect the two worlds, and he had a vision of the poetry of the streets being as respected as the poetry of the academy. In 2009, Miguel became the first Latino writer to win the Before Columbus Lifetime Achievement American Book Award. He taught Shakespeare at Rutgers University over 30 years until 2020, when he passed away. 3 years later, in October 31st, the cafe celebrated its 15th anniversary. However, on November the 1st, the cafe closed its doors for 3 years to undergo a reconstruction, turning the institution into a modern, multi-level facility. Thanks for poetry.